Hey everyone, just wanted to do a quick channel update. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. When I do a lot of thinking, I do a lot of Excel spreadsheets, okay? And specifically what I was thinking about is my 50% or less critic/user review requirement. That's kind of a number that I just decided when I opened this channel. I didn't do much research, looked at a couple bad movies and said, okay, those are under 50%, let's stick with that as the halfway point. Some research has led me to maybe question that. So starting off, I listed every superhero movie. You know, there's going to be some in there that we probably wouldn't do, but I just kind of found a list of like every superhero movie and sort of added it all up and looked at some of the movies that might be above 50%, but still widely considered bad. And I kind of crunched the number, well, I definitely crunched the numbers to look at that. So I compiled this entire list. There's about 165 total movies, including the good superhero movies, and including comic-based movies, and a few Power Rangers, Ninja Turtles, those kind of things that maybe we'll have a discussion about whether those are superhero movies later, but those are included as well. So this is kind of an average score. I can't really make a numbered list without putting an average, even if that average isn't that helpful. But on average, superhero movies, by the critics' standards, are 56% and 57% for the users. So I thought that was actually a pretty close number. It was interesting. The total number of movies that were eligible under my old rules were 65, and the new proposed rule would be under 65%, which increases that number to a cool 80. Now that's only 15 movies. That's like 2 months or 4 or 5 months of content. So in the grand scheme of things, not that much more. That's not necessarily what I'm worried about right now. What I'm worried about is what movies fall in that 15%. Now, crunching the numbers, I looked at 70%, 60%, and 50%. And I think 65 is a good middle point, and I'll show you some examples in a minute. 70 was definitely too high. There's a few movies that fall in that 65 to 70 range, or right at 70, that are just pretty good. And I didn't want to err too far into the good movie side, but I did still want to cover some subpar movies. Definitely there's some divisive movies on that list that are going to be fun to talk about. You know, it's fun to talk about Catwoman, but it's also fun to talk about Spider-Man 3. And which is, you know, critically didn't do that bad, but pretty much everyone agrees that it was a travesty. So, you know, to talk about a few other movies, Spider-Man 3 is definitely one of them. You know, so here we've got Man of Steel and The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Both fall in that 50 to 65. Both movies I consider to be pretty bad. Don't at me. You know, again, we mentioned Spider-Man 3. X-Men: The Last Stand is in that range. You'll see that Spider-Man 3 is actually a 63 and a 64, which is higher than I would imagine. So there's actually quite a few movies that fall in that bracket that are widely considered to be bad. The Hulk is another one that I definitely want to do on the channel. So I think after looking at the numbers, you know, 65 is still a D in school. It's still a bad grade. It's still in that lower 2/3. So I think that's going to be our new standard going forward. So when you're suggesting videos, when you're looking at videos you want me to do, let's up that number from 50 to 65 or less. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me. If you disagree with me, let me know why. Check out my video yesterday on the movie Catwoman. It's a hoot. Thanks for stopping by, and yeah, we'll see you next week.